Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth, alongside Phil Duvall and the Yokozuna sumo wrestler that you see in half of your screen there. What's going on, big guy?
Oh, karimasu.
Okay.
This is a solar powered sumo wrestler, and when the light hits right here, he goes hello like that back and forth all day long,
Awesome.
all day long. It is pretty great. Okay,
Awesome.
hi everybody, hi Andy and Nation of
That
Second Breakfast.
that sumo wrestler is wishing us a speedy and smooth transition into our weekend, Phil, because it's Friday.
Well, it is Friday, and it is a Good Friday. In fact, it is the Good Friday.
Indeed.
Just in case you were worried, folks, that on the most somber and depressingly, hardcorely intense day of the Christian year, I am making light by filming a podcast. Just, I'll let you in. I'm going to pull back the curtain just for this once.
Please
And
do.
let you know that we aren't actually filming this on Good Friday. We are filming this on a much happier day. And if you need a little cheer in your day, guess what? You've got this. This is going to
You know
help
what?
you out. I am wearing all black though. That should help with the mood.
Second Breakfast Nation, I want you to noodle on this for a while. I'm filming it on Good Friday. Ha-
This has been a very hard show to accomplish based on that. This is like the level of technology that we have achieved here. It's been really hard, like faking interactions between you guys, like between you and me, like making it be like, oh, I see what you did there. That's what we're gonna do the whole time.
Potatoes? Okay.
This is gonna be a good show. I can feel it already. You know how I know it's gonna be a good show, Andy?
How do you know?
Aside from the fact that it's Good Friday, it's also what's the sound?
Is that the sound of mail?
It's the sound of It's the sound of when mail that has been e-mailed to me gets printed out,
I love it.
and then I like to rustle paper.
And then you do something to it to make it make a sound.
I think it's a great use of the technology.
Agreed. No argument here.
Well, it's so that the people that are listening know that there's paper in my hand. I want to make sure that this is for everybody, man, not just the sighted.
That
This
the
isn't just for
people
the sighted.
listening to our audio podcast are aware that we are doing things as low tech as possible.
I don't know. I had a friend, by the way, from high school email me recently, and he's like, your show's pretty good. I was like, thanks, man. I agree. And then he's like, I mean, there's some things you could do to make it to become marketable. And I'm like, yeah, I know. What are they? And he was like, one of his was just like, use better technology. Like basically have better visual and better audio. And I was sort of like, yeah.
Well, that's
You know,
helpful.
I was sort of like,
Thanks.
do you want to loan us? And by loan, I mean give us thousands of dollars to do that.
Yeah.
I haven't responded to him yet. Maybe he'll listen to this, and that's the response. I don't know. Either way,
Maybe.
look, folks, we're doing what we can with what we've got, and frankly, you should just come on, enjoy yourself.
Indeed.
It's later than you think. All right, ready? 3 questions, Andy, for your mailbag. We haven't talked about the order. Believe it or not, Andy and I actually plot the order sometimes. I
It's true.
sent them to you, and we're gonna go in that order. Okay.
That sounds good.
Mostly because I want to get out of the way the first question, because the person who sent it in, this is really exciting and perplexing at the same time. Exciting. This is the first viewer mailbag question we've gotten from a viewer we don't know. I know.
Are we officially viral?
I asked my doctor, and he said no, not yet.
Okay.
But he said check back in a week. Inconclusive. Okay.
Fair enough.
But perplexing, because the person who sent us this fantastic question, so it's not a prank,
Yes.
their name is Werdna? Or Verdna?
Verdna? I thought it might be a Verdna.
Werdna, and then G, period. Werdna G or Verdna G. I have no idea, and I don't know this person. You don't know this person. It's not just that we don't know them. We have no idea how to spell or pronounce their name.
We
There's
know how to
so much.
spell their name.
Well, based on what they've given us, if that is their real name.
You're right. I will
Mom, is
assume
this
that
you?
Verna
Is this
has not misspelled their own name.
This is my mom's secret email address,
Nice.
by which she wants to find out. Wordna G's question for us, Andy. Please rank. By the way, I already like the fact that though this is not a question, she has begun. I'm assuming it's a she for some reason. Wordna has the W feels very feminine. Has already started with a politeness. Please, some of our writers are really
It's
angry.
true. It's true.
Please.
I'm going to throw you this curveball. Wordna might be the last name.
I know. No, listen, trust me. I've thought about that. G Wordna. It could be like Grant or Garrett or Jennifer with a G.
Did you spend a lot of time searching this
Guinevere?
on Facebook, just trying to come up with someone?
I actually haven't, but I haven't, but now I'm going to.
I haven't either.
Okay, you have. That's fine. And you got nothing?
I got nothing.
Well, I doubt that I will then, but I will try. Okay.
Go for it. Please rank.
Here's Wordna G's question. Please rank the following 4 Disney movies. And by the way, as if this part was not a given, explain your rankings.
No.
Because there was a chance we weren't going to talk about something.
Indeed.
Please rank the following 4 Disney movies and explain your rankings. Little Mermaid.
Okay.
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
Aladdin.
Okay.
And The Lion King. So we have The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. These are our 4. Rank them and explain your rankings. Go.
Okay. I'll do my entire rankings and then you'll do yours. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay. This is favorite, obviously. This is not, although quality will come into it, I will explain quality isn't all of it.
Minus favorites as well.
My ranking. Number 1, The Lion King. Number 2, Beauty and the Beast. Number 3, The Little Mermaid. Number 4, Aladdin.
Okay.
The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast are very, very close. It's purely personal preference. For some reason, Beauty and the Beast, to me, when people complain about Disney movies, they complain like, oh, it's so predictable and blah, blah, blah. And that was one of the only ones that I felt fell into that trap for me personally. I was like, can we just get to the part where she redeems the Beast? And I don't know why I felt that way. It's clearly a beautiful movie. And again, when I say this, don't give me that face. Let me explain. This complaint.
This is a sour puss you see here.
Okay, all right, sourpuss. Make you a snagglepuss, huh?
Okay.
Exit.
Move
Stage
on.
left.
Move on.
Stage right even. Okay, so
Wrap it up, Danny.
When I say this is a complaint, this takes it down from like on a 100-point scale. This takes it down to like a 94, right? Like, I'm a huge fan. The Lion King is Hamlet. I'm predisposed to like that story because I like the elements of that story. Everything works for me. I think I hit it at the right time. Like, it came out at the right time for me. I think Beauty and the Beast might not have, but it is a glorious, glorious movie. Little Mermaid, I remember really loving. I haven't seen it in years, and the more I think about it, the more I am willing to be proven wrong about this, but the more I am troubled, shall we say, and maybe you can speak to this, I might be troubled by the message it is sending our daughters.
Okay.
I'm a little troubled by that, and the fact that it has been as long. I have seen The Little Mermaid more recently than I have seen Beauty and the Beast, and I absolutely remember Beauty and the Beast better. It's just like stuck in my head.
Yeah. No, I understand.
And Aladdin, while it is funny on the first go round because Robin Williams is funny, it's kind of a mess.
Yes.
It's kind of a mess. That's I mean, I can elaborate, but give me your ranking or talk to me about mine.
There's not. I mean, your ranking is wrong. But here's why. So I agree with you. First of all, these four movies are of a piece with each other. So the fact that this person chose these four is purposeful.
Yes.
These four are like, this is a specific. These four movies create a specific era of Disney.
Yes. A resurgent era.
This is what I would call the Renaissance. Actually,
Indeed.
the Renaissance. Here is my ranking.
Okay.
And number one was the hardest. No, number one was the only one that was a given for me.
Okay.
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
Unquestionably, I think it is still probably the best Disney movie altogether. Well, I mean, maybe Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the very first Disney movie, still might be the best.
Right.
So good. But I think Beauty and the Beast is probably my favorite. And
Okay.
then, and to me, was the full-on Renaissance. Second,
that.
you ready? Second,
Yeah.
I'm going with Aladdin. Second's
Ooh.
Aladdin.
Okay. Okay.
Third,
Okay.
this is where it got tough for me. But I'm going to say third, Lion King.
Okay.
And fourth, Little Mermaid, I think.
Okay. Say why.
The hardest part for me really is, like, I could see Aladdin. I think The Lion King is a greater achievement, and I might actually put it ahead of Aladdin maybe as my second slot.
Okay.
Here's the thing with Little Mermaid. Let me get this out of the way first. If this is the Renaissance period, I'm going to get so artsy. Are you ready for this?
I can't wait.
If this is the Renaissance period for Disney cartoons, then The Little Mermaid is the Scrivener Chapel. It is the sort of heralding of this new time, but still very rough in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Still, like, basically what it has is great music. That the other ones, it's the beginning of the great music era.
Yeah.
And in fact, the reason why this is where Lion King could either go second or fourth for me, by the way.
Okay.
I think The Lion King has the worst music of the four.
Okay.
I think it is pop music. Obviously, Elton John does it, but I think it is pop music masquerading as musical music. And the songs that are more like musical music, I don't actually like. And it's got a sequence. I think my single least favorite sequence of all four movies is in The Lion King, which is the fluorescent sequence, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, which is a terrible song with terrible visuals. But the beginning, the first scene, Circle of Life, is so glorious and so iconic that it almost makes, and the fact that it's Hamlet, it has Jeremy Irons and Cheech Marin, by the way, and Whoopi Goldberg, hello.
Right. Nathan Lane, hell yeah. Yeah.
Almost makes it, Matthew Broderick, but I mean, Cheech Marin and Whoopi Goldberg as hyenas and the supposed racial stuff that people criticize for that gets me out. I think it's great. I love that stuff.
Dumb.
So but I think Lion King is Rococo. I think it's the Rococo period beginning. I think you see the beginnings of, look how beautiful we can make this. We can really make this beautiful, and they focused on that. And I think a lot of other things fell off the table there. So that's how artsy I'm going to get. Not only is Little Mermaid Scrivener Chapel, Lion King is Rococo, but it's still the beginnings of Rococo. It's still beautiful. It's still beautiful. Yeah, I know your faces. People who can't see Andy, it's adorable. Like, he's so red at, like, Phil is just the worst dork who ever lived.
No, it's actually that you are that you are adorable because
Aladdin.
Well done, you got the word Rococo into our podcast.
I had Aladdin on videotape, and I got to watch it with a girlfriend in high school. That was fun. And Robin Williams, I saw it with my mom originally, and we had a great time. I go to the movies with my mom all the time. In fact, I saw Beauty and the Beast with my dad, which is very uncharacteristic, but I saw Aladdin with my mom, and I don't remember when I say Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid is so unmemorable for me.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem with Little Mermaid is it's a girls' movie. It feels very much of a girls' movie, and we were 9 and boys.
Yes. Yeah, and frankly, that's what's troubling, because it's clearly a girls' movie, and I'm troubled by what that message might be.
Have you heard that Victoria's Secret is coming out with a line for junior high girls? And when you read about it, the press release about it, it makes you want to go Michael Keaton or Michael Douglas in Falling Down. Like it
Yeah.
makes you want to kill. Like it's so awful. Yeah, so yeah, that's a whole other issue. I just wanted to
Okay.
bring that up.
Like
It's
clear.
been
Yeah.
I want to
God.
be I want to be
That's a
relevant.
different podcast, and I don't mean another episode. That's another podcast.
Let girls be girls, man. They don't need to be women yet. Just chill out. Just
That's true.
relax, man. Please. Okay, here's the deal. Beauty and the Beast to me is the height of the form. Aladdin is Robin Williams' maybe greatest performance, and and I love the music. I love the music, and I love it. It might be the best of the four musically, and it is beautiful and cool. And I love Iago, the parrot. I
Yep.
love Gilbert Gottfried, and it's just got great comic performances, and yet manages to be touching and fun. And then Lion King is the beginning of the Rococo, but it's too beautiful to ignore. And Little Mermaid is the beginning of the Renaissance, but it's too girly and unmemorable for me.
You know what I'm gonna do? You have convinced me to a certain extent. I am changing my. I am flipping 3 and 4. Little Mermaid
Okay.
now brings up the rear.
Okay.
Aladdin is number 3.
Good.
And I will say this: if I were going by what I think is objective quality, I don't think my list would be different from yours.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Well, that's good. That means my personal tastes are more objective than yours. I like that. I'm kidding. Come on,
You
it's
are
Good
the
Friday.
worst.
I know. It's Good Friday. Let's be good. That's a great question. That really is a great question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Verdna.
Vernagy?
Thank you. Let us know who you are.
Dankeschön, maybe?
Eh?
I don't know. Gracias? I don't know what your name means. I don't. Grazie. I have no idea. This is a weird name, but thank you. I want to learn more about you.
Me too.
Question number 2. The thing is, by the way, seriously, I thought it was a fake person just because I didn't know and you didn't know, and I was like, no, come on.
Yeah, right. No, totally.
But then I looked at the question and I was like, this is a phenomenal question.
Right. If you were pranking us, you succeeded halfway and then failed miserably.
Right, because you asked too good of a question.
Yes.
Number 2, from a one-time guest of the podcast,
Ooh.
Chris Robinson, our comic book guru.
Hello.
Number 2, oh, I love this question so much. He asked this question, and I sent him back a text that said, that is the best question ever. Or no, I said, that is the perfect question. What is your single favorite line of all time from any movie? It's almost too big of a question. What is your single... That's why it's a perfect question, because it's not too big, but it's almost too big. What is your single favorite line of all time from any movie?
Am I going first?
Please.
Okay. Chris, thank you for writing in. I hate this question because it's too big. I don't hate it. It just, like, I want to spend the next hour and a half just listing movies that I love and the lines from them.
No ties, by the way. You can name other things that you wanted to name, but you have to pick one just for today.
I will. And I have come up with the line. But the thing is, it is so dependent on my mood. It's so dependent on my mood. Any one of any number of one-liners, and this might surprise you because this is not like a great movie. Basically anything that the manager says from Major League.
Okay, give us examples.
We wear caps and sleeves at this level, son. Others I can't say on this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many that I want to say that I just can't.
So many. Mel Brooks has had a lot of them. The sung line, "Oh, sweet mystery of life, at last I found you." Walk this way.
Put the
elevate
candle
me.
Put the candle back. I said that earlier today.
Nice. But I think, and I could literally do this for the next hour, but I'm not going to. I'm going with one that is not funny. I'm going with a line, probably, well, almost certainly, the most famous line from Cool Hand Luke. And the line from Cool Hand Luke, wait, Wait, okay, hold on. Other honorable mentions: "Singing in the Rain." Um, the awful shrew of a villain where she's like, "Course I talk, don't everybody?" Love that. It's amazing. The end of "Some Like It Hot." Nobody's perfect. Um, Pick a line from Ferris Bueller's monologue.
Yeah, from
Just
pretty
pick
much
a
any part of
line.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
And
actually.
and probably I love Call Me Snake from Escape from New York. It's
All
just
right.
so like
Okay.
ugh. But okay, so Cool Hand Luke. The most dramatic of all of these lines that I've said. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Hmm.
Um, it is it is. I have a bit of a history with this line. This movie was reintroduced to me. I saw it when I was very, very young, and then very young, too young to understand it. But I watched it a couple times at that age, and then I rewatched it because a friend of mine, Damon, who I know is watching, even though he doesn't have Facebook, so hi
Well
Damon.
done, Damon.
Um,
Also, Damon, Facebook. Come on, buddy. Just come
right?
on. Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
he reintroduced it to me early on in high school, end of middle school, right around the time when I would truly be able to understand what was going on in this movie. And he mentioned that line to me, and I remembered it as a funny line. And I sort of chuckled, and he looked at me like, "You are out of your mind." And we watched it, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's not my favorite to say, it's not my favorite to remember, but in terms of like, this is what a line of dialogue can do. It instantly illuminates the plot. It illuminates the character who is saying it. It illuminates the characters he is saying it to, and it sets in motion the rest of the movie. And I have goosebumps just thinking about it. If you were to ask me this question again in 5 minutes, I would have a completely different answer. But right now, that's my answer.
When I first read the question, one of the first lines I actually thought of was from Cool Hand Luke. Sometimes nothing's a real cool hand,
Awesome.
which is just
Awesome.
such a phenomenal line.
Oh, such a good line.
First of all, one of the reasons that your line may have made you giggle is, if you recall, it's the beginning of a very popular Guns N' Roses song, "Civil War," and it heralds the beginning of this very popular song. And for those of us who had never seen Cool Hand Luke, we still knew that line. Like, even if you weren't a big Guns N' Roses fan, it was on the radio. It was like playing. You know what I mean?
That
And
is
the guy's
very
voice is
charitable of
very, and
you.
the guy's voice is very funny. Like,
It's true. That's true.
disembodied. His voice is weird.
Yes. That
But
is very quickly. That is very charitable of you. I promise. I was not cool enough to have heard Guns N' Roses, that song.
that makes me sad about you. But okay, so anyways,
Me too.
so
Not gonna lie. Me too.
so I have seen Cool Hand Luke exactly once. I was 22 or 23, living alone in Venice Beach. Well, I was living with other people, but I didn't know them. Like, I wasn't like living with friends or whatever.
Right.
And I
Right.
watched that movie sitting on my couch one day, and it crushed me. And I still remember it almost perfectly, having only seen it once. 10 years later, it's like, and I'm actually kind of annoyed that I haven't seen it more. It's just one of those things where it's like, but it definitely is just beautiful. And I have a friend who's and a mentor who teaches. He's a priest, and when he teaches New Testament, he shows Cool Hand Luke and talks about Luke as a Jesus figure. But I think sometimes nothing is a real cool hand is a phenomenal line. Okay, here we go. First of all, just quotability wise, I will quote The Big Lebowski and Anchorman, like I guess everybody else our generation, and Wet Hot American Summer pretty much all the time. I think I immediately regret this decision is still one of my favorite things to say, and I say it almost every day. I say it almost every day. I immediately regret this decision, and I say, but so many things from that movie. But I think I immediately regret this decision. And by the way, and it's so, if someone says it's so hot out or it's so warm, I always respond, milk was a bad choice.
It's a bad choice. Yeah, you have to. You have to.
But no, but I'll say that, and some people will be like, what? Never mind.
You need new friends.
With Lebowski, that's just like your opinion, man. I like to say that to people. But actually, the one that I quote the most from that movie and I quote a lot of it. But the thing I
Hmm.
quote the most from that movie is, oh my gosh, am I going to forget the thing that I quote the most from that movie? That's just like your opinion, man. Is there's a line? Oh no, is it gone? It's something the dude says, and he says it to. Oh well, I forget. Isn't that terrible?
I'm sad.
I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Lighten up, Francis from Stripes.
So good.
None of these are to me actually the greatest film, my favorite line of all time from any movie. Like I'm coming up with all this great stuff, like obviously Princess Bride, I am not left-handed, and
Yes.
I mean
Yeah.
tons of lines from Princess Bride. I mean pretty much inconceivable. Do you? I'm not sure you know what that means, or I do not think
As
that
you
means.
wish. I mean,
I actually assumed that either "As You Wish" or "Inigo Montoya" was going to be your line. I actually
fair.
thought.
This
Oh,
is
oh,
this
oh,
is
the
this is
Lebowski
this
line.
question. I didn't even mention the movie,
I know,
and
I
you're
know.
right.
The line from Lebowski is when he goes, the girl goes, "Oh, he's a nihilist. He doesn't care about anything," and he goes, that must be exhausting. I love to say, I think that must be exhausting. And the commentary, he's a nihilist. He doesn't care about anything. That must be exhausting. Is to me just like one of the best.
It's 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 so
But everything in
short
that
and it's
movie,
so perfect.
yeah, I say that one a lot. Okay, but none of these are the best line. My favorite line of all time. Obviously, anything from Casablanca as well could be chosen.
Right? Another extremely quotable movie that didn't even enter my brain. Groundhog Day.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. I don't know where you're going, but can you call in sick? I love that.
Bang.
My favorite line of maybe of all time for Bill Murray though is from Scrooge, and it's an improv. It's an improvised line. He's picking up the girl at the end to cart her onto the screen, and he goes, "Oh, it's like boating a marlin." It's one of my favorite lines. It's like it's such a perfect line. Oh, it's like boating a marlin. My favorite line of all time from any movie is Hyman Roth in Godfather 2. This is the business we've chosen.
Love it.
That's the line. Now, it's the
Love
beginning
it.
of a monologue.
Yep.
I say it all the time. I say it in reference to my job a lot
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of people should say it in the reference to their calling, their career, because this is the business we've chosen, but also because some, friends of mine and I, we joke a lot about priesthood being a lot like the mafia. You have to make a vow to get in, and it lasts the rest of your life. It includes a
Right.
vow of obedience. There are all sorts of rules you have to follow that are totally unwritten down, but if you don't follow them, you're in trouble with somebody. You're
Right.
probably not going to get killed for it, but I say only probably. Um, and you see all sorts of crazy stuff. You just see all sorts of crazy stuff in this job. And so quite often when I'm talking to other priests or friends that are in this business, I just say, this is the business we've chosen.
Sure.
But to me that line is so perfect because it can be used comically, it can be used ironically, it can be used all that stuff. But when
Agreed.
Hyman Roth gives it is one of the great monologues in one of the great films of all time, and it's so simple and it's so applicable all over the place. This
Agreed.
is the business we've chosen is probably my favorite line.
Love it.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
But that's such a great question. I was thinking a lot about, you and I are such big Lord of the Rings fans. I don't consider it a highly quotable movie.
No.
Like in the sense
No.
of there's lines that we kind of joke about. But I don't there's not lines that like really stick out to me. There's a
Right.
couple that Gandalf says cuz
You
he's
shall
Gandalf.
not pass.
You shall not pass is amazing.
I mean,
When
come on.
it's describing the next life to Mary. It's Mary, right? It's Mary.
Pippin,
It's
right?
Pip. It's a Pip.
Yeah. When they're waiting for like, oh, the next wave is the one that's going to
Calls it
totally
deep-
crush
and he calls it
Gondor.
the deep, this is the deep breath before the plunge.
Yeah.
Whenever he says that, I'm like, okay, but that's not my favorite. Those aren't my favorite lines. Like that movie doesn't have super memorable lines. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Darth Vader saying that
Yeah.
is one way up there,
Oh yeah.
way. But
Yes.
again, I don't find personally. I'm not a big. I mean, Star Wars is more quotable. Star Wars is quotable in a way that like it's just been around so long,
Yeah.
or like Lebowski's quotable partially because the culture has deemed it so. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, in terms of, I don't know. In terms of quotability, I still think I would give it to Star Wars over, say, Lord of the Rings. I mean,
Oh, yes, Andy, yes.
do or do
absolutely.
not. There is no try.
No. You're right. You're totally right. You're 100% right. No question about that. It's just not a movie where I like would my favorite line be from that. And
Fair.
it's almost actually like it's so ingrained in us that I mean, like it's like choosing from like Casablanca. There's too many. Like, is Here's Looking at You, Kid my favorite line of all time?
Right.
No.
Right.
When he says it, is it amazing? Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's fair.
So yeah. I know that somewhere in my heart there's a Clint Eastwood line just waiting to get out, and I can't think of which one it is. But I love it. I love him.
Sure.
Okay, so my answer for now. That's yours. Yours is what we have here is a failure to communicate from Cool Hand Luke, and mine is this is the business we've chosen from Godfather Part 2. Are we happy for the moment with our choices?
As I would ever be. Yes.
Let's ask this question a week from now and see if it's the same answer.
Yeah, I know, right? Last question.
Question number 3 from Andrew B., frequent contributor, friend, and ally of the podcast. I don't know. When you say ally, then it makes it sound like both of us are gay. Because that's the only way the word ally is used now. Did you notice that?
Isn't there a bank called Ally?
There must be a gay bank. I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying. It's like the word disgruntled. That's like all of a sudden it got attached to postal workers. You could only be disgruntled if you were a postal worker. Now, allies are only people who are straight.
I'm going to use another one of my favorite lines here from Defending Your Life. Hey, Phil.
Here it comes. Wrap it up. Yeah. Okay. That's one of my favorite lines of all time.
Yeah, so good, right?
Actually, there's a ton of lines from Mother, Albert Brooks' movie Mother, that I love. He's trying to pet this dog, and she's like, "You've got to be careful. That dog is very expensive." And he goes, "Mom, I'm not Lenny from Of Mice and Men." Or she pulls up to the parking lot at the mall, and she's deciding whether or not to go in. But there's cars behind her, but she doesn't want to take the ticket because she's worried it'll cost too much to take the ticket to drive in. But you can't back out now. There's too many. And there's
right.
And he just finally he just goes, "Take the ticket." And he opens the fridge, and she's separated everything because he's a vegetarian, and she's worried that his food will touch her food. She doesn't want to offend him because she's crazy. And he goes, "It's like it happened one night for food." There's so many lines in that movie that I love. I think, but I'm not Lenny from Of Mice and Men is one of my favorite lines. So, anyways, okay. Good. Question number 3, Andrew B. With Serenity, meaning the film Serenity, which was a film version or a film continuation of the television show something.
Firefly.
Thank you. With Serenity in the rearview mirror, and cinematic efforts from Veronica Mars and possibly Arrested Development on the horizon, what are the rules that a television show making the transition to film should follow in order to create the best movie?
I love this question.
Okay.
Even though there really isn't an answer, right? Because
I think there's an answer. I think there's a definitive answer.
What's up?
I think there's a definitive answer.
Just don't.
Just don't do it. Just don't. Just don't make a movie out of a TV show. It works sometimes.
Are you excited for the new Star Trek movie, Phil?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
But that's an example of something that was more popular as a film series than a television show. Like in the sense that like it found
That's true. That's true. But I don't know. I mean, Serenity. More people went to see Serenity in the theater than saw Firefly on TV.
At this point I don't consider Star Trek an adaptation anymore. I don't think it's an adaptation. It's a whole universe.
Fair, but my answer to this question,
and I'm not excited for the new Star Trek because I care about the Star Trek universe even a little bit. I care zilch about the Star Trek universe. The last one was just a really good movie.
Fair. My answer, however, is embedded in the Star Trek film series.
Okay.
And that is the successful Star Trek movies versus the non-successful Star Trek movies. And I don't mean financially. I mean, if you want to use the word, artistically. Don't make it just a really long episode of the TV show.
Yes.
However, and the way to accomplish that, the ways are legion, right? You can do it any one of a number of ways. But it should not be just a bloated episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Serenity did a nice job. Firefly is about a crew doing small jobs here and there, and the movie was about them taking on an entire empire, basically. Mm-hmm. So scale is one way. A time shift is another way. Veronica Mars is going to be at their 10-year high school reunion, so I trust the. P.S. I love Veronica Mars. I could not be more excited for the movie. So I trust the guy in charge of it, the guy writing it, Rob Thomas, will be cognizant of the fact that you can pull in things from the series because, but it's going to be its own thing, which is kind of like what a reunion does. So it's good that it's set at the 10-year reunion. It cannot be a long episode of the TV show. That's my answer.
I think one of the benefits of Serenity is I've never saw Firefly and didn't know what Firefly was, and I saw Serenity and enjoyed myself.
Yep.
And I think that's something you need to pay attention to, and I think it's going to be the biggest challenge Arrested Development has should it choose to make a film, which is, will this actually be a film that people will be able, the people that are uninitiated to the television show will understand what's going on? And if will it be sufficient for those of us who've seen every episode of the television show?
That's the balance, right?
That is the balance.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other TV movies. I mean, like, the A-Team didn't do a terrible job. I'd still think there should be another A-Team movie. I want to see that they picked the cast. I think that's a big thing. I mean, that's a whole reimagining with a new cast, and I think the cast is fantastic. So that's another thing is it was late enough in the game that they basically did a television show as a movie. So the question is, part of the thing we're trying to figure out is it's going to be the ones he listed, Serenity, Veronica Mars, and Arrested Development, that's with existing cast members. And Star Trek was initially with existing cast members.
Except for the reboot, it's always been with existing cast members. It was just a different, it was just a different cast. It was just a different TV show.
The
So Mission Impossible movies, new cast.
Interesting.
And I think that's a very successful.
They took an idea. Mission Impossible has done a really wonderful job.
Yeah.
I was not a big fan of MI2, and I did not see Mission Impossible 3, although I heard that, I think from you, that Philip Seymour Hoffman's villain is awesome in it.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I loved the last one, Ghost Protocol. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm now in the point where I'm totally skeptical of everything Tom Cruise does, and I still really loved it.
Fair.
But I think we talked a little bit about reimaginings before, about reimaginings and remakes, and the same thing holds. If you're going to do it the way these guys like Joss Whedon and these other guys and Rob Thomas and Mitch Hurwitz are doing, then you've got to make sure to think in terms of cinema and how it's cinematic. And you've got to be able to do that. Actually, a great example, in my opinion, of Beavis and Butthead Do America. I think it was a full-on adventure. It was a movie. It was a movie narrative. But the great thing about Beavis and Butthead is that it's not a really large conceit. It's a very simple conceit. And their characters are not super developed. So you could just have them be on an adventure, and if you'd never seen them before, you completely get it. But that movie totally holds up. I've seen it recently, and it totally holds up.
Nice.
South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut is maybe my favorite television adaptation. It is a perfect movie. It's a movie that's almost better than the television show. It's those guys know how to craft films, though. That's the funny thing. Okay.
My friend who likes musicals more than any other friend I have, and maybe more than anyone in the world, Michael Burke. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mikey.
Hi, Michael.
He has said to me that he thinks that South Park the musical, or Bigger Longer, is one of the best, is the best movie musical of the past very many years.
Yeah, I dare. I mean, it's better than Les Mis.
I don't disagree with that.
Better than Chicago. Yeah, it's better than Les Mis or Chicago, and it's better than. I mean, I don't know.
Hairspray and yes.
Oh yeah, it's just yeah. I felt like there was something else to say. Oh yeah, and if you're gonna do a reimagining, you got to go. If you're gonna do like a total reimagining, like go big, baby. Like, and really, like, you've got to have that sense. You have to love the previous thing and know, but you have to be able to translate it. What do you love about it that you can? How can you make other people that have never been familiar with the TV show love it? And I think that's difficult enough that I would just say, just don't do it. I go back to my original answer. Like, for the most part, yeah, I think it's not. I don't think there's a formula, Andrew. Like, I think you need to hire people who aren't idiots and then let them do their thing.
Indeed.
So, are there any other TV to movie things coming out besides the ones he's mentioned? Arrested Development and Veronica Mars?
Community. 6 seasons in a movie. I don't know.
Everybody keeps saying that, but that's over. That's over.
Oh, yeah.
That's over.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. I think we've done it.
I think that's it.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Happy
This is our
Easter,
week.
folks. You know, yesterday we did Passover, and today we're doing Good Friday, and by the next time we see you, it'll be Easter time. So
It's true.
enjoy your weekend.
That's true. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm Andy Roth. That's Phil Duvall. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.
Bye.